Islam. Islam.
Does anyone, there are court actions that are going on, so we'll definitely make sure that those who have court actions get that out so we can make sure that the information is out there.
Islam.
And so Islam. I'm so excited for us.
Islam.
We're going to give everybody a chance to come in, and then we'll
yes.
We'll go ahead and get started.
Good mornings. We're having good mornings. We're tying each other to each other, you know.
Yes.
Grand Rising. Territory. Grand Rising.
Grand
Rising. Good mornings. Good mornings.
Grand
Rising.
Khalifa territory.
Islam.
Grand Rising.
Islam.
Y'all, I'm so excited. I'm telling you, I just can't. I'm beside myself because of.
And so this kind of joy. You haven't felt this kind of joy for a long time, right?
You know what? I've actually been feeling it for the last 3 years going on. This makes 3 years that I've been awake, Empress. 3 years. July, this month, the 25th.
All right.
Made 3 years exactly that myself and Shalay Moore and Sage woke up. And I've been feeling it ever since that day that we first heard positivity. And you know, and knew it hit the truth center. It hit the truth center. What he was saying hit the truth center, and ever since I felt that joy ever since. Even in the midst of sitting in jail, I still felt it. I still felt it. I was just, you know, so it's 9:01, Empress. Let's here. So Empress, I yield the floor.
All right. Islam, Grand Risings to all the Moors. Good mornings. Good morning to everyone. Grand Risings. Let us rise.
Islam.
Let us rise and face the east. 5 fingers on the left hand, 5 fingers on the left side, 2 fingers on the right, feet at a 45-degree angle. Islam, and repeat after me the Moorish divine prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth. Peace. Freedom. And justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation.
My salvation.
By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Drew Ali. Amen. Oh, I'm joyed. We're in precious company. Precious company. Yes. All right. So, salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Holy Temple of Science, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known by the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Act 2. All babies are to be opened and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is our holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. No member is to put in danger or to accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws and the Constitution of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our members, our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name in order to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with the necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Islam. Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, 3603 Indiana Avenue. Noble Ali, founder, Chicago, Illinois, January 18, 1929. To be proclaimed in every meeting. Dear brother, Islam, I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now that they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as an American citizen, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they themselves may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that contribute to the movement and the uplifting funds, the ones that pay their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance as badly as I do at present, that I may shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my quote-unquote fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being the head. It has been proven by my work in which I have performed in the last few months, because I was at the governor's inauguration to represent the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and I will be at the inauguration of President Hoover for the same cause, Noble Drew Ali. Divine warning by the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Prophet warns all Muslim governors ordered to read proclamation on at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violates the divine movement of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law of the land, laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button and cease wearing their turbans and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways, by order of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Islam, chapter 25, a holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and harmony may dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger to thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam. Are there any questions, comments, interjections, expoundments, joyous statements at this moment?
Yes.
Yes. Islam.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Islam, Grand Rising. I'm Johanna. How's everybody in the group?
Grand.
Grand. I'm glad to hear that. I have a question. It's for my father. He is in his 80s, and I'm new to, the Moors. I've been, researching and listening to a few videos and just consistently staying focused on, trying to learn more about us. And in the midst of that, my father's interested, and he's like I say, he's about to actually have a birthday coming up the 11th of August. And Islam. And he's interested in, converting over, but he's worried about his Social Security.
Islam. May I address that?
Yes, ma'am. Take it.
Islam. Okay, so tell him that he has absolutely nothing to worry about.
Can I put him on the call?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Just one second.
Sure.
Islam, I'm back.
Islam.
And this call actually is recorded, so it will go on YouTube as well.
Oh, fabulous.
Hello?
Okay. Hey, Dad, Grand Rising, what you doing?
Get ready to fix something to eat.
Oh, okay. I got my, they laughing. I got my Moors on the phone, and you wanted to ask about, like, if you was to convert over, you wanted to find out about your Social Security, your income coming in, right?
Tell her write it down. Send it to me.
They ain't gonna write nothing down.
Hell, I don't.
No, listen, Dad, listen. They were telling you that you didn't have anything to worry about.
Shit. If you get out 80-something, I got a hell of a lot to worry about.
Whoa, man.
Islam.
Man,
Okay.
80-something years old, he crazy as hell.
Yeah. So, may I address that issue?
Please do.
Of the Social Security. So we'll keep it there because we have a couple of other subject matters that we'll go into. But just to
truth.
Yeah,
no,
just to answer the question,
to worry about.
You don't have anything to worry about at all. Let me just answer that really quickly.
Stuff and you don't know what you're talking about. They're in this, and they've been in
you
this.
mean I don't know what I'm talking about?
You don't even know nothing about it. You have to.
Whoa.
Yeah, you didn't live the damn lie. And if anything happens because their phone, she said, may she address it. That
may I address the question?
With their calls because they don't want us finding out the truth. I wouldn't be doing that unless you. Yeah. All right, Dad. Let me let you go because you're in a different mood. Let me let you get something to eat.
Okay.
All right.
All right. I'll call you.
You can just tell them. You can just tell them later.
Come around here and get it. All right. Love you later.
Yeah. You can just tell them later. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't have anything to worry about. Whatever it is that he is getting from whatever subject or servant agency he's getting it from, that is actually a resource on his land. And so they're not even doing him any favors by giving that to him because they're not really giving it to him. It's his in the first place. And so all he has to do is like what many of us have done.
We're just letting you have a complimentary
Islam, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. We were disconnected.
So while you're shampooing and conditioning, if you're conditioning.
Hold on for just a moment, because I'm getting a little bit of interference here with regards to, I think somebody, if you all could go ahead and mute so that I can respond to the question. Thank you. So, again, he doesn't have anything to worry about. All he needs to do is go ahead and proclaim his nationality, put it on the public record that he is a Moorish American national, and then terminate all corporate contracts. And this is the part that some do not understand right away about Moorish science, is that he there's a little bit of feedback coming from some of the lines, so I'm going to mute just a few of them.
Okay, that's fine. I was thinking that
go ahead.
My phone had disconnected.
You're fine.
I didn't know if
You're
they
fine.
hung up
You're
because
fine.
they put the contact tracers on everybody's phones. Even I got a home phone, and my phone went out exactly with the mobiles and everything. So I know that they've been messing, which I'm not afraid, and I'm not.
Yeah, that's not even a big deal because they can't stop what's going on anyway. That's the only reason why they do things like that is because they can't stop it. But so we don't even worry about that. In fact, that's like the least of our worries.
Right, Islam. We keep it moving.
We keep it moving. And so he will need to do what many of us have done, which is terminate all corporate contracts. And that's just a matter of an affidavit that you place on the public record. He doesn't even have to send that to Social Security. He just puts it on the public record. Social Security and all of that is subject to the Moors.
Oh, okay.
So Social Security that's a system that has to do exactly what it's supposed to do, which is ensure that the heirs have what they need on the land while this wake-up process happens. And
wow. Thank you so much
terminate
for that.
all corporate contracts. And then and just place that on the public record. He doesn't have to say anything to them about anything unless they decide that they want to violate him. Then he can say because, see, they're public servants. They're supposed to check the public record anyway. You know?
Okay.
And so that's why it's not a secret. We're not hiding anything from them. If they're doing their job, they're going to know he's an heir and that the only reason they're able to eat or were previously able to eat was because the heirs, they were making sure that the heirs had what they needed, you know. So, again, go ahead and declare nationality. That is the first thing all must do. And then terminate the corporate contracts. And then he's good. That's what he needs to do. Our Prophet Noble Ali said that, you know, if you do nothing else, declare your nationality. And then we go ahead and terminate the corporate contracts because that's all a part of the nationality process, is we're telling the corporate we don't need them no more. We have what we need. And his Social Security, just like VA and disability and everything else that's coming to the Moors currently, all of that stuff, the Moors are actually feeding people by allowing that to come to them.
Islam. Wow. Islam.
So I'll go ahead and shorten it there so that and I want to yield the floor to Empress Delilah, but I wanted to be sure that he knows he doesn't have anything to worry about. Many of us have already done it. I've done it. It's been over a year, and that stuff is going to keep coming to where it's coming to until we tell it not to come anymore.
Islam. Yeah, because I'm waiting. I declared mine's about 2 weeks now, and I have not had any contact. I have not been able to get in contact with the young lady that done mines, and I'm like, okay, I just want to talk to her because I didn't know if I was supposed to add my I have a 4-year-old, and I want her on there too as well, and Yes, so you are the matriarch, and you're the Stargate, the sovereign Stargate for the 4-year-old. So you go ahead and do the same thing that you did for you. You can do that for your heir. So download those same papers and just and you sign them for your heir, and then have your heir to participate in that process by putting her red thumbprint, her red thumbprint on the document. Get her involved in it so that she knows that this is who we are and this is how we express that on paper. Okay. And hopefully you're not paying anyone to do that. That's something that can be done without any fiat being exchanged. Oh, no, ma'am. No. Okay, I paid $85 Islam. I paid $85 You should not. For... Yeah. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. All you have to do is go on to, you can even go on to MoorishamericanConsulate.org and download the documents, and then you sign them, fill them out and sign them yourself. You don't have to pay for that. And those documents are for your records. You don't have to send them anywhere. If you want them stamped and sealed, you can have them stamped and sealed. But your thumbprint is the highest seal. And then download as many copies as you need, sign them in red, and then you distribute them according to whatever it is that you need done. You know, if you're allowing, if you're dealing with fake courts and all of that stuff, go ahead and send those documents to the fake courts and tell them, as long as it has the right red thumbprint on it of the sovereign, it's sealed and it's valid. Okay. Yeah, because I sent her. She got the information and got everything completed as last I talked to her, and I've been calling her probably, like, I don't call her too much because I remember she's saying she's so backed up and tied up with work, so I call her like in the mornings or near noon, and I still won't get a call back, a text back, and I'm like, okay. Amen. I just need to know. Yeah, that's why we don't charge for stuff, because you can do all of that yourself. You're a sovereign. So you don't have to pay for that stuff. And then when you sign, make sure you sign it in all lowercase letters. So don't put any capital letters on your document when you sign. Sign in all lowercase letters, and the reason you do that is because the corporate system is a capitalism system. That's why they call it capitalism. Like if you go on to the financial channels and things, they talk about capitalism all the time. All they really did was capitalize the sovereign appellations of the heirs and then start pretending to be us. And so when you sign it in red, just sign it in all lowercase letters with no capital letters, not even the first letter capitalized, and you're good. Oh, I done messed up, and she didn't even.
That's okay.
Yeah, because I put our signature signed, and it's all in red, and what else? Oh, I also she said that the amount was towards travel card and identification card.
If you want travel card and identification card and you feel like you need those, then there probably is some fee for that, because those are materials that whoever it is that's giving you your card, that's now there's some materials that come with that. Right. However, you can demonstrate without those, but most of us have them. Most of us have paid some small fee, $35 or something for one, for a card, something like that. And that's that's understandable. Hold on for just a moment. That's understandable. Are you there, Empress? I'm hoping I did not mute you.
No, me or the other Empress.
The other Empress. I wanted to be sure that I did not mute her. Let me make sure.
I would just so love to meet all of y'all. Like we're down here in Columbus, Ohio. I don't know nothing but my uncle, and he's really deep into it too. He's the one at Islam that got me, and got my father interested, and definitely me, to convert over, and that's it. I don't know if any more is here in Columbus, and I would just so love to, get with them all, because it's like I'm trying to get this message out here, and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, well, I'll look at it, and you never hear back from people. They don't stay consistent or nothing.
Jamestown, right, New Jersey territory.
Right.
Go ahead, Empress.
I'm here with you.
Islam, Grand Rising.
So, what I was going to say, yes, we can hear you. So what I was going to say to you, Empress, is the paperwork is one thing, but it's not even a matter of you converting over. It's a matter of you are that. You've been that from birth. You've been that since before birth. So you're not really converting. You're just acknowledging the truth that really is. The paperwork is a manifestation of that, but you're that with or without the paperwork. Just know that. You don't need paperwork to tell you what bloodline and birthrights you have,
Islam.
Okay, we do the paperwork, but we don't necessarily, but we can demonstrate without it, one way or the other, but we wanted it just as a outward manifestation so that we can see it and read it and know that we are who we are, Islam. I yield. Delilah, I think you wanted to say something.
No, Islam, apparently there's someone else there at Columbus. I thought I heard a noble say, I'm here. I think maybe he might be at Columbus, Ohio. So if she might want to hook up, and talk or something like that. I think I heard that,
Oh, yeah, that would be fabulous. Cause
yes, you did.
Yeah.
Well, so,
yeah,
all right. So
I heard somebody say, I'm here. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, so you're not alone. There's someone there, right there with you.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And one more thing, because, we want to find out, I know that's a bunch of talk. I don't watch any news or nothing, but they said if they start which the New World Order sound like it then already started, like if they was to approach or address, I know they're not going to be kicking in doors or nothing like that, but they can still, but I got my Moorish flag that should be hung up this weekend, and I also got me a license plate that actually symbolizes, like in the front, that I'm a Moor, and this is my residence and everything. So I haven't learned exactly, how to approach that situation if it's thrown at me, like basically if they knock on your door. I mean, me personally, I'm not going to answer because you wasn't invited. You don't have permission to be on my premises.
That is actually a great response right there. You do need to terminate all corporate contracts on the public record, because a lot of times when they are coming to the door, it's because they're coming with some paper or some document in hand, and those documents a lot of times are something that we may have signed even in our sleep, and we want to terminate those documents before they attempt to use them in some fashion,
Right.
So
yeah,
that's why we terminate corporate contracts, so that they don't have anything that they can even use to come to the door with.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I got my nationality, that information.
Huh?
I heard a gentleman's voice, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
When you say terminate those contracts, does that mean like business contracts or stuff? Like if you own a business, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so
can you expound on what that means?
Yes, I can explain what it means. If if you have a business, Moors we have commerce in our blood, so we have every right on our land to do business. We don't want to do business under contracts that say that if someone doing business as the policy enforcers or the city or the state, quote unquote, can come in and shut it down because of a contract that we sign. So we terminate the corporate contracts on the public record. In other words, we do the statement of termination of all corporate contracts. It is a universal sovereign affidavit on government letterhead, because all Moors are part and parcel for their government. And when you terminate,
You got to go to the courthouse to do that?
Nope, you do not. You do not. Nope, that's something that you can do right at your domicile. Does not cost a dime. And you can put it on the public record anywhere. It can be on Moorish American Consulate Public Records page on Facebook is a free page where you can upload all of your documents. It is the public record.
I don't have that. I need that.
Yes, you need to. You need to, so that you don't have to. It's Moorish American Consulate. That's MOORISH.
MOORISH.
Consulate.
American Consulate. CONSULATE. Public Records page.
Public Records.
Consulate.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yep,
Public Records page.
Okay,
and you can go there and you can upload, once you scan your documents in, you can upload them to that page, and that is the public record. And know that everyone is watching that page. Just know that.
Islam.
All public servants are looking at that.
Does that absolve you of things things like tickets and things like that? Like you get a speeding ticket.
Yeah, and actually you didn't get the speeding ticket. They gave it to some all caps name that's not you. And so that's a part of knowing who you are. We are not a part of that capitalist system. And if you'll notice, anything that they give you, they're going to use capital letters.
Okay.
Our ancestors didn't use capital letters when talking when discussing sovereign affairs. And so we don't even deal with that in that manner. We're going to use those later once we get these colonizers out of the way. But right now we are doing everything in all lowercase letters in red, and that is how we're coming out. That's nationality gives us the authority to come out of that capitalist system and be ourselves on our own land. So that's what I mean by terminating all corporate contracts. Is you just do an affidavit, and if you go on Moorish American Consulate Public Records page and look at the documents that are there, there are many terminations of corporate contract that you can copy at home and then upload them to that page, and you're good. That's the public record right there. And if you need Moorish letterhead, if you need Moorish government letterhead, we have that also. It does not cost a dime. If you go on that page, I uploaded Moorish government letterhead about probably 3 or 4 months ago. I can upload it again, and you can download it and use it for everything that you need to use it for. Is Moorish government letterhead, because all Moors are part and parcel for their government. Always.
Islam. We all are government officials, and we're actually the only real government officials on this land. Everybody else is kind of fake. Kinda, they are.
Yeah, they definitely are.
I was actually just trying to be a little reserved about that, but they're very
but yeah, we definitely understand the discrepancy. They are definitely colonizers.
Yes.
Islam.
Yes,
Whoa.
yes.
Ooh,
Islam. So I just, I'm so glad that you all are here and that you know who you are. It's going to be, now you will be tested. When he talks about tickets and things, those are our tests.
Yes.
Things like that, tickets, foreclosures, all of that stuff is a test on how to get past those things using your nationality. Okay? And everyone is tested in that manner.
Islam.
And that's okay. You don't have to worry about it. Just know who you are, and you'll be all right. Know who you are and know that we're not at war with anyone, and you'll be fine. Just like the rest of us.
Housing and all this, people who are getting evicted and things like that from their houses because of this corona thing.
Okay, so
good question. Islam.
Yes, the majority of us have, when we were in our sleep, we signed things like mortgages and all of that. And rental leases and things like that. We did that in our sleep because we didn't know any better. However, ignorance of the law is no excuse, especially for us, because when you find out how powerful we are, you're going to know why it's now time to wake up and get out of those and put your termination of corporate contracts on the public record. When you terminate corporate contracts, you're terminating anything that is sitting on top of your estate. We know that domicile is part of our estate, that the land is ours. We know the natural resources, the light, the water, all of that stuff belongs to the heirs and no one else. And so that's why it's important to know who you are. You must demonstrate. No one else can do that for you. You must demonstrate that you know who you are to those attempting to steal the estate. A lot of times we're faced with that from the very beginning, and it depends on what test the ancestors have for you as to how that turns out. Some some keep their domiciles, others are evicted out of them, but it depends on your energy towards it. If all that you know about yourself was tied up in how big a domicile you have, then your outcome is going to be a little different from someone who knows that that's just, their perception of the domicile. Yes. So energies towards what we know and that whole structure, that whole corporate structure, our energy towards that structure determines the outcome. We must demonstrate our nationality no matter what. It's going to be tempting for some, not many, because we already know what it's about, to want to accept the all caps name and say, I'll do whatever y'all say, just don't put me out. But this is where the rubber meets the road for the heirs. We've been telling them from day one and going to keep telling them, we're not afraid of anything that you think you might be able to do, because they really can't do nothing. When we know who we are, they can't do anything. Yep, that's why we're now. And so continue to study who you are so that you can express that when they come and try and test you in that manner. Because the test does not have to mean you being put out. But if your ego was tied up in the domicile, it's going to be a different story. I'm just going to be flat out. I'm not going to paint any rosy photo for you.
Right.
The energies have everything to do with the outcome of the demonstration. When they know that nothing will stop you from being yourself and that you're going to study to be competent, to be yourself, they'll leave you alone. I'm a witness to that. All my stuff, played out there because I put it out there, and many others have put it out there. Many others have put it out there, So be prepared to be tested. Know that your nationality and your bloodline and your birthright is everything. That's the key to all of this stuff, to the estate. That's the key to the land. That's the key to all of all that we know is ours. That's the key to the policy enforcers leaving you alone. It's the key.
Wow.
Your nationality. Because guess what? Long before they got here, we've been here. There never was a time when we weren't here.
Islam.
Right.
Islam.
So with that, I yield. Thank you for the questions to all of us. If any other boys want to chime in and add to that and et cetera, I yield.
Islam.
Glad you're here. Congratulations.
Right.
Thanks.
The only thing that I'd like to contribute, about what contracts are, that's key to understand what a contract. And any contract is under threat, duress, or coercion is unenforceable and void ab initio from the gate. So if someone's stopping you on the road, with party lights and saying that you have violated something, you're being under threat, duress, and coercion. And especially if he has a side piece, you're definitely, and so to demonstrate that you know that the contract is unenforceable, you must know what a contract is, what it includes. It's an offer, consideration. The terms must be clear. No hidden terms. It must be clear, and that you have agreed to it. And if you're not agreeing to something, then you're under threat. You're under duress. You're under coercion. And ergo, the contract from the door is unenforceable. It can't be forced on you, because as Sister Light, Justice Light is sharing with you, you have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what it is. Your nature's law and nature's God, and you have the right to life. And if somebody's coming in there and violating your liberty on the land, then you know that there is something to be reckoned there, and you must understand how to reckon this, because you are sovereign to the land. You're tied to the land by blood. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The happiness is that you're being left alone and living in peace so that you can find out who you are. And that's what Islam is. I, self, law, and master. We're here to master ourselves. We're here in peace, but we're here to master ourselves. So a contract, knowing what a contract is. Now, I know there's one place where a demonstration where Brother Todd's taught about contracts is on RV-based publications, and it demonstrates what contracts are. And, you need to start studying that and get a little more confident, because you must be who you are. How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. So if you know you're a Moorish American, you can enforce it. And that's why I decided to share with, my Moors who are here, with the Moors with the lights that are here, the starlights that are here, because we all agreed eons ago to meet at this time and at this space, in this continuum. Some of us have forgotten that we were supposed to meet. We said, I'm supposed to meet here at 12 noon on this day. Dang, I better hurry up and get myself together. But see, that's what we're doing. We're getting ourselves together, getting our thoughts together, knowing that we were here 25,000 years ago, 50,000 years ago. We were here eons ago. We were here before time was. And so we must remember those. We must remember those things so that we can collectively come back, because this is the age that we're supposed to help sustain, the age of man or mind, or the growth of man or mind. We're here to help and assist in that. And that's why we're studying, what the prophet has given us. That's why I read the divine constitution and bylaws, because it says we are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that we are not Negroes, black people, or colored folks, or Ethiopians. So and then, and it also says we are teaching our people their nationality and divine creed. Everybody, all the other disciplines, like Catholics, those people the Ashkenazis who call themselves Jews, they know their creed. We're trying to rekindle, because we have it within us. The law is within us, but we just got to rekindle those lost things, because we were in dismal crypts. We are, or in the cares of the world, as it says on the front of the 101. We were lost in the cares of the world. And Drew Ali is bringing us out of the cares of the world onto the solid rock foundation of salvation. And what is salvation? Love. Love is going to save us. Love is going to be the thing that saves us all. Islam?
Islam.
Islam?
Thank you for that.
All right. Any more questions or comments? Any more questions?
I was just going to say that, how do we know when a contract has full disclosure? Only when we write it. That's why we speak by affidavit. Islam, I yield.
Islam, go ahead. Islam. That's right. Teach on. Teach on. Because we agreed to be here this time and this, this moment, to share these things. Because we're here to assist. We're here to assist those. That's what the Holy Covenant says. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of thy father contribute to support of his whole race. And his care be continued to you all in our love to each other. Our love. We're rekindling that love. We're using it as principles, to guide us. This is our creed. This is our creed. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But there's other things that you want to protect, how to protect yourself, because the prophet designed it this way. He designed a way to give us our creed, so that we can understand who we are and why we are. And how, like again I said, how did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. And what is your nationality? Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are the descendants of Moroccans and born in America. And this is part of that from the 101 questionnaire for Moorish children. And we're children coming again to our creed, finding out who we are, finding out what our beliefs are, because creed means confession of your articles of faith, or your articles of faith, or your confession of your faith. And can we confess our faith? Can we confess the knowing of our faith? And so that's why I'm enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this because it says, hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with with truth? Communicated to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. But that's talking about your higher self and lower self. Because again, how many selves are there? 2. What name them? Higher self and lower self. So we got to know that, we come with that childlike mind that wants to see everything, do everything, get involved in everything, even though they don't know the dangers that they're getting involved in. I'm going to go into the water. I don't know how to swim, but I'm 2, 3 years old. I'm going to go in the water. There's sharks. There's all kinds of vermin, all kinds of things there. That's why, we have others to help us, to assist in the growth of mind and the age of mind. We're to help improve each other, we're to work on each other, because that's what the social duties are, to confer and receive mutual helps and reciprocal help, mutual obligations and reciprocal helps. We're here to share these things. No man is an island. We're here together, bonded by blood. We're blessed by the blood. And we can trace our heritage back, through Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary, and we can trace that our heritage all the way back. That we've been kept from doing that, but that's why remember Moors, backward through the ages, masterminds can trace themselves, and thus they know, and we can trace ourselves. It's there. It's on the record. It's in the record, on the record, and let the record reflect. It's there how we can trace ourselves back there. Islam?
Mm-hmm. Islam.
Yep.
Are there any more questions? Any more questions or comments or something?
Yeah, I was waiting for my my cards, my national. I didn't know how long that takes to come through. It's by mail, and she's coming from New Jersey to Columbus, Ohio.
Oh.
You should be able to track it.
Right.
You should be able to track it. Did you get a tracking number?
No.
They probably gave you a tracking number.
Okay,
and you can email them. You can email her.
Okay.
To see where it is. Because you did that by some kind of recording, some kind of, that you sent something, and that's there again. There's a contract. That's a contract, and so you should know, what the terms.
Islam. I've done it through Cash App, and
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's still the point of the matter is there's an agreement between you and the sister in order to get your cards, your travel card and your nationality card and your paperwork to be sealed. So it's still, you know, there's a contract involved. I yield.
From what I understand, it's taking anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks in some cases, you know, depending. So, you know.
And that's all I'm asking is just, you know, just to have some kind of information, just a response at all. Like,
and it depends on who did it. We honestly, we're answering questions, but we're not sure who actually did it, but it doesn't matter. Most likely it'll be somebody that, you know, will get it to you within 4 to 6 weeks. And that's across the board with regard to ID cards and things.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a lot of people waking up at this time, which we're completely excited about.
And I'm so glad to hear that because that's what we needed. We need it for everybody if possible. But you got those, like you heard, my thick-skulled father. He's 83 years in the making, and it's like, you know, until I guess it's like I'll go ahead. I'm fine with being approved. So then, okay, now y'all see that everything is legit. So lead by example. I mean, who's following me? Come on, let's get this done.
You know, and I'll say this as well when it comes to family members and things like that. The best thing you can do, and you just said it, is free yourself first, and then when they see that you're free, then they will be able to. They'll feel a little bit better, even though you're not trying to prove anything to anyone. You're actually proving it more to yourself than anyone else.
Islam.
You know.
And I already feel good about it. I've been feeling good since I've been studying and researching, and got a guy on there. I don't know if y'all know Kush Day. I love him. Oh my God, he's so fabulous.
There are so many more out there that have just awesome information. I'm not familiar with him, but there's so many. Because so many of us are waking up, and at some point, Empress, you're going to have some information that you'll want to put out there, too. And you're going to do the same thing and inspire others just like you're being inspired by the ones whose name you just said or appellation you just said and, you know, all of that. We all have something that we're coming to the table with, and that's the beauty of our bloodline and birthright is that each and every one of us has something that is slightly different or maybe way different that we're bringing to the table. And the awakening and the enlightenment is going to just make whatever that is really shine and come to life. So be prepared for that, too. As you free yourself, you're going to want to share how you freed yourself, you know, and what you went through, you know. So it's going to be beautiful.
I was going to see if I can join in my son. I just got him on the phone. Hey, son, I'm going to call you. I got some of our Moors on the phone. Is that okay?
Okay, and someone else, I think, had a question. I think someone else is trying to say something as well.
Oh, go Islam.
Yes,
Islam.
Go
ahead. Go ahead, Empress.
I remember years ago in church, I would always hear the pastor, the bishop say, we are covered by the blood. We are protected by the blood. And now I fully understand it means bloodline. Yes, bloodline, birthright.
Yes.
Islam, we're back. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Everything that we were told in church is actually true over here on this side.
Isn't that amazing?
Everything that we were told in church about the chosen people, and you know, they told us we were this and we were that and covered by the blood, like she just said, and all of that. But it's actually true on this side here, and that's why sometimes, you know, some of us can go back and forth between the Bibliothek and other ancient writings, and it makes complete sense to us now, whereas it may not have done that before, you know. So, you know.
Yes.
Empress Valerie, I'm with you on that because I grew up in a quote unquote Christian household, know the Bible backwards and forwards.
Wait a minute, you ain't the only one. Wait a minute, you ain't the only one. Come on now, come on. You're not the only one.
Yes, any scripture that anyone starts, I can finish it, you know. But it makes a whole lot more sense now. But this is the beauty of that too. And some of us know this, you can kind of see it a little bit, is that we're such energetic beings that even in our sleep, the energies responded to the things that we were saying and doing even over there, except on this, you know, with the information that we have now, we know why. And we can expand it now that we know who we really are. Those energies really come through at this point. Manifestation really comes through instantly for some, and for others over time, because we're all different. But it's very powerful how we can call energies to us and call them into being based on our energies. That's why our energies are actually more important than any document. The documents are great. We need the documents. We need them. We need them to be competent documents. At the beginning and end of the day, you pair that with the right energy, unstoppable, cannot be stopped.
Unbeatable.
Yes.
I have Islam. I have my son on the phone. He also encouraged me as well, and he beat me. He went and done his nationality and got everything done. So I wanted to introduce him. Go ahead, son.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Islam, Grand Rising.
Islam. My name's Tree.
Islam.
And I'm just like a health specialist for probably over 13 years.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm just working on trying to get my record cleared.
So know that record is not yours. It's not yours. And you can, when you proclaim your proper status, which you've done it already. Both of you have already done it. The process is complete once you say and know that you are of the bloodline and birthright. And you are. Okay? So the process is complete. Any other things that you do from this point are just icing on the cake and physical manifestations of that. But that record, if you choose to rebut it, there are ways to do that. If you notice, any time you talk about a record, because this is great. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you asked that question or talked about that or brought that up, because those records, again, anything that they say on there, they're going to be talking to a name in all capital letters. Know that capital letters are not even real letters. They're actually pictures. They're actually hieroglyphs. They are whole. Capital letters are not singular. They are, you know how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words? It's like that. That's what capital letters are. It means more than what we thought it meant. So you must properly rebut that, because it seems like it's weighing on you. So then proper rebuttal will need to be done. And proper rebuttal is just, you're the creditor, and you do everything that you do in red, in all lowercase letters, and then red right thumbprint. If you, again, go on to Moorish American Consulate Public Records page and just look around at the documents and pull from the documents and craft an affidavit on government letterhead, because you're part and parcel of your government, and then you rebut that in all lowercase letters in red. No one can argue with that. No one can argue with that. That is your status. Your bloodline makes your status what it is. Coming from the sovereign stargate makes you sovereign. And again, you're not a citizen, because either you're sovereign or you're a citizen. You can't be both. There's no such thing as a sovereign citizen. So don't let them pull that on you. That's why we don't talk to them, because they're far less competent than they should be. And they'll say things like, "Are you a sovereign citizen?" So we don't talk to them. What we do is we send sovereign affidavits, okay, on government letterhead with your right red thumbprint on it. And you all, and when you go on to that place, and you can go on to, there are many other sites out there that have competent affidavits on them. The one that I know for sure is Moorish American Consulate Public Records, where you'll see the documents in red and all lowercase letters. Some of it you'll see in ancient English. You may not understand the ancient English, but if you read ancient English, you will understand it, because it's not what you think it is either. And so, you know, just look at some of the documents. Some will make sense and some won't. Don't worry about the ones that don't make sense right now, because over time they will begin to make sense when you realize why they're written the way they are and what you see. Okay, so always demonstrate at the level of your understanding. If you don't understand something, study it so that you can understand it and demonstrate it, and then do your demonstration of it. Okay, but the main thing about all demonstrations, they all have one thing in common, and that's your identity, your nationality. Once you get that, there's no demonstration you can't do, because you stick right there at jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is who are you and who is it that's attempting to say you've done this or you are that, or we have it on this piece of paper that you did this. You're not a piece of paper. You're a living, breathing, sovereign Moorish American national whose bloodline has been on the earth for all time. There never was a time when you were not here.
Islam.
Always been here.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I appreciate it.
Yes.
I'm going to get to that soon.
Yes. Yes.
When you're ready. License and insurance?
Huh? Islam?
So this absolve you too from license and insurance?
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. And state your name and nationality. I'm sorry, state your name and nationality. The one who's asking the question.
Abijah, Moorish Empire. I was just asking about driver's license and insurance.
So driver's license and insurance, if you choose to do that demonstration, first of all, who is it that's giving you those things, or who is it that's saying that you need them? Who is it? Who says you need that?
The government.
Who is it?
Your motor vehicle.
Okay.
Corporation.
A corporation is saying you need that. How long have you been on this landmass and your bloodline been on this landmass?
Yeah.
Okay. How long has that corporation been here? Oh, maybe 60 years maximum.
Right.
Wow.
Think about it.
Okay.
Think about it. And our ancestors put some things in place so that we never have to yield to that kind of thing. Now, there are some Moors who feel more comfortable with driver's license and insurance. Okay, if you're a Moor who feels more comfortable with it, have it, but make sure you terminate the corporate contracts that are attached to those things and use them as a resource on your land until you're ready to do the demonstration where you don't need them. Many of us don't have them and haven't had them, and have no intention of getting them. I'm one of them, but I've learned to do that demonstration. But until you're ready, when you're ready, because that's the thing about all of this is do it when you're ready. Study while you're preparing to do the demonstration. Okay, and I had a feeling, usually when Moors ask the question, it's because there's been some pressure exerted in that area, and they need to do a demonstration. And so, coming in again, if you want to, if you don't feel comfortable doing the demonstration, make sure you send the DMV and them, since it's time to do the demonstration already. Send them a termination of corporate contract saying that you terminated all contracts associated with a driver's license and insurance, and that you're not held by the rules that they attach to those things. Because, see, they'll give it to you just so they can take it away.
Yeah.
May I speak on that? I got this question that's maybe to help someone understand. If their functions, their businesses, their way of doing business, their society, they're closed down. So if they're not open to do business with you, how are you supposed to get these things anyway? That's how much we need to be stop thinking about their stuff. That's their stuff.
That's the same as Islam. I'm piggybacking off of what she, or just
No, we camelback.
Camelback. Yeah, that's what I meant to say because I just learned that one just today or so. My apology. Camelbacking off of what she just said. They actually just had a location up here that's got people coming like they're all the way out the door, and I'm like, that is just them, taking people's money because the business is not open, as she stated. And then the libraries, we have no access to the libraries. If you want something printed and copied, you have to give them something with an email they'll give you, and then you send your information there. I don't like that. I don't want them having no more than what they didn't have all this time.
See, most of us can see through that too.
You got to remember that.
Go ahead, Empress Energy. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, my part. Thank you. It's just a matter of we're in that position what the prophet told us. You know what I'm saying? When the wheels of industry stop, we got to remember that's the very time we're in right now. So in order for it to, when it start back up being in the hands of the Asiatics, I mean, we need to be doing our individual parts of handling our affairs, because the prophet said, I give you everything to free a nation. Take it and free yourself. So if you're working on you, the next brother or sister's working on them, then collectively, because we all got the same instruction book, we got the same 101 questionnaire. We have the one, if we are members of, notice if I say, if we are members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, then we all have the same divine constitution and bylaws.
Islam.
You feel what I'm saying? So we're doing our society. Our society is working from a deficit of lack of knowledge. But their stuff is shut down, and the only reason why they're, like the sister just said, the only reason why they're still appearing to be still doing business is because we keep going to them. We have to stop it. If we really wish for this to be done, then let it be done. Yes, we got to deal with the beans and rice for the next, 3 years. Okay, fine. How much gyros can we eat? Okay, we all done had a fried chicken. We done with that now. We're going to have to grow up and do this work. But you got to do it for yourself. And then hopefully you can be close to other like-minded Moors around your neck of the woods so you all can do the work. And then, just be yourself. All of the solid colors. I yield this one.
Islam. And some of us are not, some of us, like I've actually never been to a Moorish Science Temple of America. But I know that I'm the temple. We are all the temple.
Islam.
And so, some choose to go there, and because we're sovereign, we can do whatever we want to do on our land. We don't, and so that's a good thing too. The ones who choose to go to the temple is a good thing too. We need the temple, but for some who choose, not to go, it's okay too. But you got to know who you are. Period. That's the bottom line. The bottom line is know who you are. That's the real deal. Islam, I yield.
Meet your prophet. Find out what he left for you, and then stand on your square. That's what these 101 questions is all about, to get us all clear on the work that is ahead of us. The foundation has already been set from time immemorial. We're just being reminded of our information. That's what this call that Sister Delilah is providing for us, and I appreciate you, Sister, for this. My apologies for it. Well,
not a problem.
She's taking us through these 101s, so and breaking them down. Now we all have a measure on this. And feel free to speak up, but the sisters, she giving us the numbers, the letters, all that good stuff, because it's for us to get on the same page. Now, our culture and traditions may be different from, territory to territory, but we all have the same divine law. We have the same divine creed: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I yield the floor.
I'd like to speak in Islam. This is Michelle Talbot Bay, Virginia Territory. Speaking of being on the same page, I just wanted to put out there how important it is to study the Capitis Diminutio, because if we don't comprehend that and we're doing our affidavits, we could put ourselves right back into the slavery system simply by not knowing. And I have seen with some of the posts that it's possible that some of the Moors are not comprehending the why we are putting our documents in all lowercase lettering. Any uppercase lettering in our appellation is a form of denationalization.
Yes.
And so if we're doing all this work to nationalize and we're not comprehending half of this diminutio, maxima, media, and minima, it's all for naught.
I understand.
Islam,
they built a whole system. They built a whole system around capital letters. That's what capitalism is. They built an entire system
to denationalize us. It's a form of denationalization. Islam, I yield.
Islam, I'm just sharing this too. You must know that, and I've said it before, this is the divine and national movement. So, and as the Bible students here know, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added unto you. So you must know your divine creed in order to proclaim who you are. If you don't know your bloodline, how you are tied to the land, then you're listed as incompetent. And any abuses that the citizens care to heap upon you or bestow upon you, you will receive. So the point of the matter is, they're only here temporarily. They are an illusion and will pass away. And so we can reclaim everything and anything that you desire because we are sovereign. We created it. We were there at the beginning when they came into existence. And we established these principles for them to keep them within the bounds of righteousness, to try to keep them within the bounds of being civilized. Because we created these beings, and 12 Moabite women helped create this being, and we're responsible for having created this being. And so we must know our responsibility and do our due diligence. But once they're gone, like the oral statements of prophecy says, it will return to the climate that it was once before, which was a tropical climate. And then the mines of gold will be revealed. They're hidden right now. But truth be told, we are the mines of gold, truth be told. But the other thing is the fruit and the vegetation will return to its natural form and state again. We only did these things because we had to teach law. Because like 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7 through 9, law is for the lawless. Law is for the lawless. So we had to teach them law because they had no clue as to what law was. They just did anything, the hybrids, the carnivorous hybrids, because I got to be mindful of what I say in terms of they. The carnivorous hybrids, we had to civilize them because they're demonstrating that they have never changed. They're still carnivores. They eat their own. They eat their young. They consume the blood of their young. They consume the blood of whomever they can encounter. They consume it. So once this has dissipated, we live in peace. Mind you, that's what Islamism is, the practice of peace or the practice of knowing I serve law and master. Once we have accomplished that, then we don't have to, because you're not going to do any harm to me and I'm not going to do any harm to you. Because we know that we have the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And as again, I say liberty means the exemption from foreign control. So you know what is right. You already know the practice and the instructions that the prophet has divinely prepared for us. If you understand that, we can perfect ourselves. We can become that perfected man and raise ourselves from our lower self to our higher self. And once we utilize all that, we don't need that anymore. We don't need it anymore. Never more do we need it. Unless you choose to come back here again and do some more stuff. But the idea is to raise our consciousness to its highest level. Become the perfected man and become one with Allah. And like it says, when you look in the face of your brother, you are looking at the image of Allah. When man honors man, or when mind honors mind, you honor Allah. So there's principles that can guide us. Yes, the national part is very critical because that's what we need to do. It's undermining it brick by brick by brick. But what are you going to replace that with? What kind of moral constitution are you going to have? What kind of moral compass are you going to use? What kind of moral fiber are you going to use? You know, we can't just leave it just, you know, I got my property back and then I don't know how to treat my brother. Remember the relation that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not the stranger before thy own. And if thy brother's in adversity, assist them. Are we just going to go out there and leave ourselves hanging out there without assisting each other, without helping each other?
Islam.
So these are key too, but these are only temporary and they're illusions and they will pass away. But the point of them, what are you doing within yourself? Because the great meeting is on. The city of the sun. We're meeting here at the city of the sun. The great meeting is on. How are you going to treat your brother? How are you going to treat your son? How are you going to treat your children? Because like the problem has been mothers. That's why he's carrying her onto the shore. Humanity was written on her womb. A nation can rise no higher than the mother. And if she's asleep, then the rest of the nation is asleep. And I use my examples that if we don't treat our sons the way we're supposed to be treating them in terms of teaching them principles, you know, guiding them with principles and helping ourselves with the principles, then where are we going? Because we'll be going back to the same stuff. The point of the matter is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's what the prophet brought us. Love. And that's what I'm sharing, what love is. I've given a definition of what love is. It means to learn and to teach true knowledge from the heart for divine redemption. We're here to redeem ourselves. Not only ourselves, but the nation, individually as well as our nation. We're here to redeem ourselves because we have fallen from our higher state to our lower self. We became carnal. It's become from carnal flesh to flesh divine. So we're to go through these visible clips, and that's why it's important to know your natal chart, to know your trinity, your sun, your moon, and your rising. It's important to know those things. That's how you know self. If you don't, and then the rest of the chart, the rest of the 12 houses will tell you what you did previously in your other lives, and what you must go through this time around. And I knew that I had to go through certain things because I saw the squares that I was going to be challenged with, the squares, the aspects in the chart. I knew I was going to be challenged, but I was prepared. I said, well, let me see what it is. I'm interested. I want to see what it is. All right, so I'm in handcuffs, and I'm going downtown, and I'm in the dismal crypt, and I'm sitting next to some other Asiatics who are unconscious, you know, and we're singing Free Us Free. You know, rubbing the cups against the bars and stuff like that. But the point of the matter is I knew I was going to go, and I not only once, but twice I went through those dismal crypts. But I knew I had to go, but I wanted to see what I had to learn there while I was there. I didn't go in there and, you know, oh, man, I hate this stuff. These modern Europeans, and even the unconscious Asiatics who captured me and stuff like that, you know, I needed to learn that lesson. Because like it says in the Circle 7, in every way of life I would walk. In every hall of learning I would sit. What any man has gained, any height that any man has gained, I would gain. And what many man has suffered, I would meet, so that I would know the griefs, the disappointments, and the sore temptations, so that I can know how to succor those in need. So I'm here to learn that I need to succor. And succor, what does it mean? Succor means to rush to someone's assistance. Because when I look in the face of my brother or my son, I'm looking at myself. So the whole thing is that you must know these things. These things pass away. But if they're not replaced with a moral compass, then we're going to be, you know, in the same position that we were before. But I know that by Justice's life, when she's sharing that talking about that video, and that people are waking up to consciousness, their status, that they have an estate, that you know that this nation is ours. This nation is ours. But the mothers must wake up to that and take responsibility for that. And that's why he also teaches in chapter 23, you know, the responsibility for holy instructions for thy children. And then what we have to do for our children, we must do for ourselves, because we have been asleep in that dismal crypt, in that shallow grave. gotta wake up to these things again. So, without with one leg, it doesn't get you anywhere. You need both legs, divine and national, to walk upright. Islam, I yield the floor.
Islam.
Well, no, sister, I mean, what number we on?
We ain't went nowhere because we've been discussing other things. So, it's open. It's been open, and I love it because, that means, we're getting some of the questions out, that people were not assured of, and that, we as a nation are uniting as, as light, beings of light, as beings of light. So, we need to, get some of this stuff on the table, because the sister was sharing. First, she shared her 87-year-old father, and we got a little bit of that lesson, and then she brought her son on, and we got a little bit of that lesson. So lessons are always good. They're always good, because it says, communicated to the ignorant for thine instruction, their instruction, communicated to the wise for thine own improvement. So, we've been endowed with truth. It says the gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and He has appointed to everyone his portion and what seemeth good unto himself. So we all have our portion. We all have our vision. We all have our sight, our insight as well. That sincerity. I'd like to hear that sincerity, that purity, because purity paves the way for love. So this is about love. Islam? So I yield.
Islam, and also speaking of unity and unifying and all that we are being tested on. As Moors come in, we are seeing a pattern, and the pattern of testing is this. This is what I'm seeing. With new Moors that are coming in, and not even just new ones, but all of us. The first thing that we're generally tested on in a major way is whatever it is that we held close to us the most.
Islam.
For some, it was the accomplishments of, the domiciles and all of that. For others, it was it was conveyances. For others, it was the heirs, and for others, it was relationships. For others, it was jobs. For others, it was whatever it is. Whatever it is that we held dear in our sleep, the ancestors are going to choose that thing to test us on. And so, the migration or the evolution beyond those tests are this. From what I'm seeing, once we've passed that test, the passing of the test will then open up a mindset where we realize that, for example, let's just say my test was a conveyance. And soon as I woke up, the first thing that happened was I got pulled over, my conveyance was taken. Once I got past the energy that said that conveyance was the thing for me, that was what I loved, I realized that, and I'm just using that as an example, I realized that our ancestors are calling us to so much greater because we already own everything. So we're being called to greater. For some, it's traumatic to have something like that happen. And then for some of us, like in 2017, it was our freedom, the thing that we feared the most. Our ancestors took us straight to it and said, you can even get past that with your nationality. You can get past this, you can get past that. We just kept being navigated past all of the things that would keep us from evolving into our godness. So once we get beyond that, we come to the realization that now is the time for us to not really worry so much about that stuff, because that stuff is not going anywhere. Conveyances are going to be here, and they're always going to be ours. Domiciles are going to be here. They're all ours. There's not a domicile on the land that does not belong to us. Mm-hmm. So that's not really the issue anymore. After a while, you evolve and you say, okay, it's good. We got that. We're going to get that stuff. That stuff is good. We're being called now to unify and to stand as the nation and the government on the land and to govern this estate together. We're being called to stand as nation and the government, and that's however government presents itself. It presents itself as temples. It presents itself as consulates. It presents itself as embassies. Some more related to open embassies, etc. However that presents itself, because ultimately we're converging. Mm-hmm. The convergence is happening, and someone mentioned that earlier in the call. So we're being called now to come together and to stand, and no, there's not a single one of us, and I said this before because it's really important. I said it in a previous call. There's no one of us, no matter how much we know. Yes, we need all of those things. We're going to get them. That's inevitable. Yes. How long do you think that colonizers are going to be able to keep us from anything? Because they're not really keeping us from it. That is not even theirs. It's the information, the knowing, that gets us to that stuff. So we got that stuff. It's here. It's already here. We just have to uncover the access to it, and that's already done too, really. But right now, our ancestors are saying, you all will stand and govern this estate together, or no one gets that stuff. Stand and govern together, or no one's getting that stuff. Now, many of us have already made up our minds, and I believe that's every single last one of us on this call, and who actually take the time to discuss government, that have made up our minds that that not having our estate is not an option, and in fact we have it already. As above, so below.
Islam.
And so we're being called now to focus on seeking first the empire in its entirety, which includes the spiritual, which includes the metaphysical, which includes the judicial, executive, and legislative, which includes all of kin and the unity and all of that. We're being called to continue to manifest that, so that all of those things will be added unto us. Seek ye first the empire, and all of those things will be added. And Empress Delilah, you said that earlier in the call. All those things will be added. Yes. So that's not even the issue. That's the test. For many of us, that's the test. Is what will you do without that stuff? Okay, now that you know how it feels to be without it, know what it takes to get it and keep it.
Islam.
Islam.
That's where we are now. Islam. I hear before.
Yes, Islam. When I said we need all of those things, I was speaking of our embassies, our consulates, our erudite. That's, I mean it in that way. So, and that everybody has their part to play.
Islam. Islam. Yes. Yes. Because like I said, we all decided to meet at this time. We just remembering that we decided to meet at this moment in time, half of us were asleep, some of us got up at 7 o'clock, some of us got up at 8, some of us got up at 12, but we're here to meet, to confer, to receive reciprocal helps and mutual obligations that we said we were going to do eons ago, to come back to this moment. We committed to it. We signed an agreement. We did a covenant. We did a covenant that we were going to return at this moment in time and space, in this continuum, that we were going to do this work to help sustain the age, to help sustain the growth. We're here to help sustain the growth and the age of mind and the age of man, the growth of mind and the growth of man. We're here to do that. We made a commitment to it. We left ourselves plenty of breadcrumbs, as there's a fairy tale that says, we left ourselves breadcrumbs to remind us of where we once were. And if we were smart, we left stones. We left something more substantial to show us where we need to return to. But this is the Great Awakening. This is the great meeting that is on right now. And on is the city of the sun. And the city of the sun is the Quran. The Quran. The Holy Quran. The Holy Quran is the sun reader. And we're here to read the sun, to read our energies, our willingness, our understanding, our reasoning, and our thinking power, so that we can change this around. Because we've been under a tribulation, but I think it's Corinthians or something like that. If you call that name, the land will be healed. It will be healed. And stop, not recognizing that we are family. We are family. We're blood. And so if we recognize that, But anyway, I yield the floor right now. I yield. Unless there are any more questions or anything, comments or something like that, Yeah, these and the creed is that way of us remembering, and that's what the prophet brought us first, because he said he knew that we needed it the most. He's a universal prophet. It wasn't just, prophet was just North America, South America, or Mexico. He's a universal prophet, so it goes beyond what we can see with the physical eyes. It's that first eye that's reawakening and kindling and generating that power force, that power, that energy. We need to be there. We're one. We are one.
Yes.
Although we're, in individual parts, but we're still one.
Yes.
Islam? What time is it?
Someone was about to say something. One of the
was
about to say something.
Islam, it's me,
Yes,
Johanna. I didn't, know the whole thing of how to change our name and stuff, because I like the name Empress too, just something unique, and I kind of stuck with what, the name that I was born with, but I didn't know how to choose a name or which names I know the last names, all those. I know like 4 of them that some in the Moors are Moors, and some assistance. And I needed to find out how will we get the 100 question, what is that, the 100 question something, and it was something else. I know the 100 question.
The Quran questions for Moorish Americans. Are you talking about that? The 101?
Yeah, the one you was reading off. Yes, that one, Islam.
Yeah, there's a couple places that you can get that. Fez Province Regency, he has it, and then Ras Malai, she has it too. You can get that. Yeah. And if you ever want to drop into a temple, and you have, enough energy to stay there, you can get it from them too. They'll, that's because that's part of the initiation. That's the first degree. That is the first degree, learning the 101s and being able to recite them. That's the first degree.
You said, are they on the consulate page, Moorish consulate?
Well,
you can go to Fez Province, which is Empress Delilah's page.
Yes.
They have them there. She has them there. Go ahead, Empress Delilah.
Yeah, FezProvinceRegency.org, and you can get the Quran, the Circle 7 Quran, and you can also get the Moorish the Quran questions for Moorish Americans. You can get that from him. Boz, he has the 101 questionnaire. I don't generally suggest getting the Circle 7 from there because a part of it is missing out of there, So I suggest Fez Province Regency, .org for that. unless you go into the temple, like I say, if you go into the brick and mortar. Let me clear this up. Unless you go into one of those brick and mortar temples, because your temple, wherever you are, is holy ground anyway. Your temple, you carry your temple wherever you go. But the point of the matter is, if you want to go into brick and mortar temples and you want to get, because that's what he says, your nationality card. You can get a nationality card from the temple. Here at Shaka Maxim, it's 3 times, and you can get your nationality card. 3 consecutive meetings, you can get your nationality card from them. And you're told to put that old name on there, because as the prophet says, there is a debt that is owed on that name. And so don't give up those old names. Just put the title at the end, the L, the Bay, at the end, the title. But you utilize those old names so that you can, because you have an estate there. You have, all that benefit that is due you. And he said it's going to be paid in interest and compound interest. That is all that is due to you, with regard to that. But that's the way the temple generally does, the brick and mortar temple does their process. You go there and get a temple card, and that's why it says, don't flash your cards to Europeans. It causes confusion, So, if you understand what that card is saying, and even though it's somewhat, they don't reveal the whole truth and nothing but the truth, because, USA, it says a citizen of the USA, but as I read, every time I read the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, it says salvation, Allah, unity. So that's what it means. Unity, salvation, and Allah. That USA, you're a USA citizen. Unity, salvation, and Allah. A lot of stuff is just kept from us because of various things, various causes, various reasons that have gone on in the history of the development of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Because Prophet Noble Ali was fighting that. That's why he says that letter to be read proclaimed in every meeting, because he was fighting these other Moors. They thought it was a joke and unreal. They thought it was a joke unreal. And then when the government official said, no, this is real. We acknowledge this. And then when he went to Cuba and got the land mandate, that was it. That's when that was another reason that the stock market crashed at that point. Another reason. Not that it hasn't crashed since they came into existence in 1774. That they were trying, in 1754, Benjamin Franklin was trying to bring a corporation on the land then.
Islam. Wow.
And it's currently crashed, just so you know.
It's crashed about 4 or 5 times. But the prophet really helped it crash. Once he passed on in 1929, that stuff crashed like a big dog. It crashed. Mm-hmm. And then they had to make up another name. They created another name. So under new management. This is U.S. Corporation. Oh no, this is a capital U dot lowercase s corporation incorporated. Oh no, under new management. This is another one, because I think it's called a 3-card Monty. We keep shifting the shell, the P underneath the shell, so that you don't know, who's got the hot, who's got the P, underneath it. They keep shifting it around because we allow it. We continue to acquiesce to our state being escheated. But this is the new awakening. This is the awakening of the Moors right now. This is the awakening of the Moabite nation. This is the great meeting. The great meeting is on right now. That's what we're doing right now. In the city of Heliopolis, in the city of the sun, the will. We're willing this. We're willing this into existence. We don't got to have no guns and BB guns or slingshots or anything like that. We're willing this into existence with the power of our thought.
Islam, and also when you talk about the USA and all of that, we are the United States for America or of America in all lowercase letters. Mm-hmm. We're the sovereign. Mm-hmm. Lowercase letters is how our ancestors wrote everything. When you go back and look, and then they would use capital letters as pictures. That's what. That's why when you look at hieroglyphs, they look like capital letters. That's a whole picture of stuff. you know. And until we learn what those pictures are, we use lowercase letters for everything. And that is an automatic invocation of our sovereignty. So again, the same way that when Empress Delilah mentioned the using the old name, it's actually in all lowercase letters. When you use it in all lowercase letters, then that is actually the creditor and not a debtor. Okay, not a corporate debtor. A corporate debtor is that name in all capital letters, which is what your your son had asked about previously, about having a quote-unquote record. When you look at the record that they put out there, it's in all capital letters. That is not him. That's the debtor. They're trying to debt him. They're trying to make him a debtor. The creditor is in all lowercase letters. So even on our ID cards, we reflect all lowercase letters when it comes to our name, our appellation, our sovereign-born appellation that our sovereign mothers gave us. When we, burst through the stargate that is so sovereign and holy.
Now put it in another way. Yeah, now dip it upside down. Islam.
Yep, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Camelback. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Camelback, go ahead.
Camelback on what was just being said about, them being bankrupt. My thing is this: if you already collapsed, the way I see it, you ain't never really had no more, it's whatever. Period. So all that redid it and reopened up, none of that's really valid if you ask me. It's just that we just kept on going along. Now, there's really nothing that you can go along with other than what is yours. All men must now, under their own vine and fig tree, all men. Those that's on these lands here, if they're not going to claim their Polish descent, if they're not going to claim their Slovakian descent, if they're not going to claim their Hungarian descent, you see what I'm saying? Hey, they're going to have to deal with the cosmic justice that's coming down for them. You can't keep walking around here calling yourself that which you're not. And that goes for all of us. You will pay the price, but as far as all this, I don't never see them ever been able to rebound. The only thing they've done is been able to trick us into being like the Joneses.
Yes, that is Islam. That is true. Definitely by calling us African American, Black, Negro.
Jesse did that one. The first one you said, sis. Jesse did that, so your own did that to you. And that's what it comes down to. That's why self is needing to be studied. Selves need to be studied so we can recognize that. When we start studying selves, then we're going to be able to notice our brothers and sisters. That's why you don't forsake them. That's why you assist your sister, because you already recognize you in them. And when you recognize you in them, you're recognizing Allah in all. And that society that we're trying to be a part of does not. I don't care how much they spout off God. I remember years ago, before I knew anything about my nationality and birthright. However, I remember years ago, I went in the library and I looked in that big old dictionary they had, and the definition for God that I read said Austrian male. So from that point forward, I didn't even mess with that terminology. And then later on, I was told, what was I told? What it means, generator, operator, and destroyer by Brother C. Freeman L. Rest in power. Islam sister, how can I help you?
Islam.
Oh, your uncle sent the letter. Yes. All right, sis. You do say.
Thank you. You also have a good day.
So this is a brother that's been in the tomb for the last almost 20 years, right, sis?
Yeah,
18
more
years.
than that.
Now he was brought in. He was in the temple, right? He was 16 when they snatched him up, and the temple let him sit there for 18 years.
Yeah, you're talking about CM, right? CM Day?
Which temple? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Territory?
I'm not sure.
I mean, what area on the land? Hold on, Sister Delilah. In Cleveland. So Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, Ohio is where this young man was snatched up 18 years ago. He's reached out to me, and I just got his letter from his niece, just dropped it off to me. But this is what I'm saying about those, I'm not knocking the temple or my prophet. I'm saying the individuals that's in there, What are we doing? That's why we still don't know how to run our government.
Yeah.
Why is this the problem? So that's why I'm so grateful. That's the first oral statement. Free yourself. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we already knew collectively we ain't going to do right. But if we can get you about good 5, 7, 9 folks to rock with you, you'll be good. You get to enjoy this experience called life. But if not, it's going to be kind of difficult, but you will still be all right because you know you're a prophet and you know the Most High. I hear it.
And the other thing is there is no law against voluntary servitude. There's no law, and so we voluntarily submitted ourselves to be in that position in bondage. We volunteered. Now there's a law against involuntary. There's law against involuntary servitude. You know, there is a law.
He was 16 coming, and the temple, the Grand Sheik of that temple didn't come get him. He was supposed to go down there and do the what? Habeas corpus, produce the body. Something. He let that boy sit there from 16. That baby didn't know because, you know, inside most of our temples, they're not teaching civics.
Wow.
So how would he have known to get himself away from that? He didn't do it voluntarily. He did it on a lack of knowledge.
Well, but remember, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So the point of the that's, you know, ignorance of the law is no excuse. All right. So, you know, and then as C.M. Bay is, you know, he's a master astrologer, 360 degrees. So some at one point he realized this, you know, what the prophet was giving him and bringing to him, you know. But the point of the matter is involuntary servitude is against the law. But the voluntary servitude, if you volunteer to be in servitude, that's your choice. That is your choice. And so we tacitly acquiesce to a lot of these incursions upon our liberties. We volunteered these incursions upon our liberties, the right to be unencumbered by someone else, by a foreigner. We have the right to control our own destiny. The self-determination. Self-determination. We have the right to self-determination, self-control, self-reliance, and self-determination. We have that right. We were given that right when we came through the Stargate. And we realized, and we did this prior to coming through the Stargate. Because this is not the first time we have been together. This is not the first time we have been together.
I'm just saying, I was just sharing with y'all because she just dropped his letter off to me. And with that being said, somehow through the ethers, he was able to get in contact with me. I don't know this brother, you know, so-called personally, but cosmically speaking, apparently he was meant to come across our paths because of the fact that I'm sitting here with the letter. He's made the phone call. You know, the niece came all the way out into this neck of the woods to find me. And if I was doing, well, I'm going to leave that alone. But, I mean, she could easily see where the Muslim is at, where the Moor is at. Why? That flag is flying proudly out front. Proudly.
No, that's right.
You know,
Islam.
She's looking for the numbers on the building. Ain't no numbers on the building, baby. But you see where the Moor is at.
Right.
It's proudly flying.
Islam.
You know, so that's all I would say. I was just pointing out the fact that he's been there all this time and he reached out, so he never walked away from his movement. And when the folks is coming in there and what they're saying about the movement is dead, oh, the Moors ain't doing nothing out there, that's what he's getting on the inside, sisters and brothers. But that's not the truth. When he called me, I had let him know we ain't as active as we could be, but it doesn't matter. You still have to do you. You have to be yourself. So out of all this time he's been in there, he never turned his back on his prophet or his temple. And that's a testament to the Most High or to Allah and him and Allah, if you ask me. I yield to you.
But see, like, Islam, I thought you were talking about C.M. Bay. I didn't know that you had brought in another, you know, factor within this. You know, I thought you were talking about C.M. Bay. You know, so I apologize. I apologize because that was no clarity. All right.
Yeah, no, not at all.
All right.
We have about Islam. We have about 12 minutes left before the hour. I wanted to say just a couple of things about all of that, and some may disagree with me on this, and that's okay. But we're at the point now where None of us, none, not a single one of us, has to go into those POW camps. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have anything, it doesn't have as much to do with someone coming to get you mm-hmm. as it does first contact with occupiers. Mm-hmm. Within the first 3 minutes, the occupiers already know whether they can take you or not. Mm-hmm. Within the first 3 minutes,
Islam.
They know whether they can take you or not. If you don't say anything in the first 3 minutes, they know they can't take you because everything you say, they used to say everything you say can and will be used against you. Well, when you're thinking you're black, that's probably true, but on this side, it's not true.
Islam.
Because we can be competent to save ourselves from POW camps by not ever having to go in there, by being competent on jurisdiction and how to invoke jurisdiction when we first come in contact with them. Now, not after we have 30 contracts that we've signed over the last 3 months, mm-hmm. but I'm talking about when you have terminated those corporate contracts, terminated them, and not signed any others, and you're competent at jurisdiction. And just a question to think about. What is the last 10 things that you put your autograph on? Mm-hmm, just to think. It's rhetorical. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if the majority of the last 10 things that you put your autograph on were corporate documents, you need to roll that back. You need to roll it back and consider terminating corporate contracts. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Think about the last 10 things that you autograph, and think about how you autographed them. Did you invoke jurisdiction at the signing? Was it in red?
Lowercase.
Then you can talk about exerting or standing on jurisdiction, and that being what you can stand on. Because we can't keep signing things with those people, with those things that we call humankind. We can't sign things with them and then expect not to be taken when they come. Exactly. To enforce their contract. Mm-hmm. Because we have contracts that we made before we got here that say that we're going to come here and stop all the contracting on this mm-hmm. plane. Mm-hmm. And that's Islam. What this is all about.
Islam.
Yes.
Islam.
Is getting rid of those contracts and then standing on that verbally. I don't need 30 more around me with guns to keep policy enforcers from taking me. Mm-hmm. I don't need that. It's okay to have. It's cool. If that's what our ancestors say is cool for us, then I'm all about it. Mm-hmm. But we must get to the point where we stand sovereign, even if we're sui generis, which means by ourselves, but we're never really by ourselves, so we have a different term that we use for that. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, no one has to be taken, and no one has to go in and pull anybody out. Mm-hmm.
Islam.
I know that sounds counter to what we've been taught, because we're accustomed to, but it's the fact. If you're not sovereign, if you cannot come out of situations that colonizers put you, that seemingly they put you in, we put ourselves in all those situations, and I'm talking to me first. And now that I look back on what I did to get in those situations, I know how to get out.
Islam.
And I know how to never go back in those situations again. Ever.
Yes.
And if I go back into those situations, I'm still going to have peace because I already know who's in control.
Yep.
We can't say that we're God if we're not in control.
That's right.
And something that's been made clear to me recently which I knew in my spirit, but it's being proven to me, is that even over these last 400 years, or however we look at that whole quote-unquote captivity piece, we were even in control then. Mm-hmm. I know it don't feel like it. I know it don't seem like it. But the more I look back at what the result of that is turning out to be, we're more powerful than ever today, having been in that, because we're so determined not to go back in it.
Mm-hmm. Islam.
So, as far as someone coming and swooping through and, brother so-and-so got picked up for distribution of methamphetamine, but he's a Moor, so have the sheep go down and pick him up.
No.
Right. Exactly. That is not how it works. That is not how it works. Islam. And so, again, we never have to go back into those POW camps or any of that. We never have to deal with that again when we're competent and peaceful and keep that energy, that clean, clear energy flowing through us. That's not to say we're not going to be tested. It's not to say that. We're going to be tested. Know that. Plan for it.
Islam.
But it's a matter of our response to the test.
And you only a square.
And the pre-planning, like terminating corporate contracts, because in reality we're proactive. We're not really reactive. We're proactive.
Like I said, that red fabric, that's what you make that out of, and I got that on board. Islam, I apologize.
So, that's okay. So again, I yield the floor, but all of that stuff we can nip that in the bud right now. Each one of us.
If we remember what we truly are, first and foremost, that's why I go by the appellation of energy, because that is a constant, all-day reminder of what I am truthfully, first and foremost.
Yes.
And then I get caught up in, I'm a mother, and I'm a citizen, or I'm a member, and I'm a daughter, and I'm a wife, and then you got all these different parts that you play, but you came to play these parts, and you already scripted it in the ether realm, if you wish to call it that, and if you can remember that, and that's what, like, Camel backing off of what Sister Delilah was saying, we got to remember who we are. And now we being in the age of Aquarius, i.e. the information age, there's no way around this. And for those who don't get it at this point in time, there's casualties to every war, and it's okay.
Islam.
Either way it goes, we're still going to be okay.
Right,
that's the bottom line is our ancestors got us, period.
Right. Because
all we have to do is continue to stand.
And death is no enemy of mind. It's no enemy, because we are born again. We wash, we become clean, and we become new again. This is the eon where we're going to wipe all this. We got a lot of cleaning to do. We got a lot of cleanup to do. Because we've allowed it to go on for so long that this is so dirty and scummy but nature is assisting us so long as we're in alliance and an alignment with nature and nature's law and nature's God. We're in line with that. But then, like the prophet is always emphasizing, if you let love lead, you ain't going to be out there trying to sell no methamphetamines in the first place. You're not trying to do that. You're not trying to harm. Let love lead. Let love lead this. That's our divine principle. And that's the top of the point of the star. At the top of the star. What is our flag? What is the Moorish? It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. What do the 5 points represent? Love. Truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Love is at the top. That's at the top. Because we've been in hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, and theft, and everything that harms. That's what we've been in this eon, in this age. But that's the Piscean age, and we're getting rid of that. We're getting rid of that lower self energy. Love. We'll let love lead. If we let love lead, it overcomes all. And then I'm looking at chapter 18 where he says, Adon Mashik Kumi. Come out, Lord. Come out. Come out from within. Come out. You're there. Adon, Lord. Come out. Mashiach Kumi. Come out. Come out, Messiah. You redeem. You redeem. You are the redemption. So Adon Mashiach Kumi, chapter 18. Adon Mashiach Kumi. Come out. Come out, Messiah. Come out, Master.
Islam.
All right, so what
you just cast a powerful spell.
Islam.
That's powerful. Come out is a spell, and you just cast it.
Mm-hmm.
And broke it as well. All at the same time. That's powerful.
It's definitely powerful.
And that's what I close when I close with when I speak with Moors. I say, come out, Master. Come out, Lord, Master. Come out.
Yeah.
You're there. Just wake up. You're there. Wake up. You were in the dismal crypt. You were in the tomb. We rolled away the stone now. We rolled away the stone. Come on out. Come on out.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That which was blocking you, come on out. Come on out. So, yes, it's
and as you're saying that, all I'm seeing is heirs being born. Heirs being born. Heirs being born.
Islam. So, we have any announcements about any court actions today so that, we can participate? I'd like to, I always have to acknowledge that. Are there any court actions today that we need to attend? And can we get the numbers?
Yes. Islam. This is Wilton Third Bay, and I have a court action today at 3:30 Central Time. And the dial-in number is 425-436-6200. Access code 189766. And online conference call is Wilton Turk 601.
Anybody else? Anybody else have a court action today, or within the next couple of days?
This week, yes. There are some other court actions this week. And hope I don't know if they are on here. Islam.
Am I hearing it right? You're saying court like COURT?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Islam.
Really?
And we're not talking about going in them Admiralty and Maritime buildings. We're not talking about that. We call court.
I'm sitting here looking like what they mean. Okay.
No, we call court.
Okay.
We call court. We call the actions. We send out the paperwork and inform them that they are colonizing or whatever other violation of the law they have done.
Okay.
We send out the paperwork, tell them, that they have a certain amount of time to respond, and then, then we call it on, we have a conference calling number where they are to respond. And you got to listen to it. You have to, I urge anyone to listen to the actions of the Moors who are conscious. Not a gun, not a bullet, nothing is going on. But when you listen to the actions, man, my flesh starts, I get goosebumps every time I think about, the actions. These are the justices. They're bringing about justice, too. These are the justices, and they're bringing about justice on the land. So I yield. Any more?
So I can hear.
Yes. Islam.
The phone number is the phone number again is 425-43.
Somebody got a pen.
Empress.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember you. I took you to
Empress.
We go there.
Energy. Are you writing this information, or is that a different conversation?
About 3 or 4.
I'm getting ready to write it. Okay.
No, you didn't get it my tip. No, you didn't get it tip.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I thought once I get him in the car with me again. Let me see, what store you going to?
Okay. Hold on. All right. Are there any other court actions? Okay, and again, just like Empress Delilah was saying, when we do court actions, when we talk about court actions, we are absolutely 100% talking about the Moorish American Consular Court, which all Moors are the Moorish American Consular Court. That means that when there has been any unlawful occupation of sovereign, original, indigenous lands, each and every Moor, I don't care if you just found out who you were yesterday or today, or you've known for the last 30 years or 40 years that you're a Moorish American, you can find out who it is that is unlawfully occupying. Usually it's corporations, and we put together on Moorish government letterhead a command to appear in the Moorish American Consular Court. We use venues such as Zoom and this venue that we're on right now, which is freeconferencecall.com, and we use the video portion or the audio, and we call the occupiers into court. So we send by mail, certified sovereign mail, we send them a command to appear in the Moorish American Consular Court and to state their name and nationality for the record. And then if they do not appear, which normally criminals don't usually like to come to court because all corporations know that they are subject to the Moors and they are not anything other than subject. And then if they do not appear, we send to them and to the American Provost Marshal a command for their arrest and imprisonment, and it can be deportation, it can be decapitation, which means removal from office. That's what that means. And we send those documents out as well. So that is what when we say court actions, that's what we mean. We don't step into those fake corporate Walmart venues because they are not worthy of the heirs. Those venues are not competent enough to deal with the heirs, and they know it. And anytime they send something attempting to have an heir show up when they know they're not even talking to the heirs, we call them into court, to our sovereign Moorish American Consular Court. It's happening all over the earth. People are doing Moorish American Consular Court actions in China territory, Thailand territory, Indonesia territory, Africa territory. All of the territories are doing them. The islands and here at North Amexem. So that's what we mean. I wanted to be sure we get that all the way out there so that all Moors know. And in fact, that is how we govern our affairs, simply because those who were pretending to govern, calling themselves a Congress, a Senate, a legislature, etc., all of them have been attorneys unlawfully occupying our land. We're not allowing that to be the case anymore, and we're doing it ourselves. We govern our own vast estate by using the law to remove any and all unlawful occupiers on our land. And with that, I yield the floor. Empress Delilah, did you want to conclude the call for this time, and then we'll be back again?
Yeah, we'll be back again next week, and then, I trust you can get on further, on our 101-mile trek, but it was good. This needed to happen because I was feeling a certain way, and it answered answered my question, because I was feeling a certain way because I wanted a little more confidence in explaining the letter Q and the letter R. I wanted more confidence because that's 17 and 18. I wanted more confidence because we were on mile 16 and 17. I wanted more confidence in explaining it. I mean, I've been reading it, but I needed on my dial plate to explain it. But law governs all events, and this has been the most beautiful example of law governing all events. And I didn't really have anything to worry about anyway, but I'd like to be, because this is about being the science of being a Moor. And so if you're in error, there's nothing wrong with that, because it says in chapter 7 of the Red Book of the Mysteries of the Silent Brotherhood, error is but truth gone astray, distorted. So we're focusing, we're getting focused, our energy and understanding what truth is. So we don't, even if we did make a mistake, we can come back and correct it. That's the whole thing, the whole beauty of it all. We can come around and correct it because we're doing the science of being Moors,
Islam.
So at that point, I'd like to end this, and say I love all all my Moors, to all my Moabites who are on the line who are listening at this moment in time, and let us keep our love. Let's let that love light keep burning and burning bright. Brightly. Put that fire of zeal on that light of love. So with that, Islam, and I love all my Moors.
Peace and grand rising, and long live the empire.
Islam. Grand rising.
Grand rising.
Love you more.
Love you more. Love you more. Love you more.
Love you more.
Love you more.
Love is the empire.
Islam.
Love the empire.
Islam.
Empress, it's like.
Yes.
I have what can I find the command arrest affidavit?
Command what? Which one?
Arrest. Arrest.
Oh, there are plenty of them on Moorish American Consulate Public Records page.
Okay, because I was looking on it, I didn't see it.
Yeah. Let's see where else. If you look on YouTube at Light Tajiri Bay, I believe I've shown those documents on there, on the court action. We generally put that up there. But if you don't see it, Empress, shoot me a text message with your email and I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
One of the ones that I've done. Yes, Islam.
With that,
peace and grand rising.
Peace and grand rising. With that, great love to all. Islam.
Yes,
Islam.
Islam.